I think it's safe to assume a lot of us here have dreams. Maybe some of you wanted to be famous athletes or singers, or maybe some of you wanted something quieter, like owning a cottage and living out your days painting away. I was no different. As a kid, I had so many dreams, some more ridiculous than others. Maybe it'll surprise you when I say this, but for the longest time, I wanted to be a wrestler. I used to be enamored by the insane skill of these super strong and talented wrestlers, and I wanted to be just like them. That was until I realized I had crippling anxiety, and performing in front of thousands and thousands of people in real time? Yeah, that was kind of a nightmare. I also once told my family I wanted to be a comedian, and then they all laughed. So, mission failed successfully, I guess. But there was one dream that I had that sat in the back of my mind for the longest time, and that was YouTube. It still feels kinda awkward and embarrassing to admit, even though I'm literally on the app right now telling you about this, but it has been my biggest passion since I was a kid. I grew up watching YouTube legends in the making. I was so amazed at the creativity of so many people and how genuine and sincere so many of these videos were. Even looking back, I think it's just so interesting how people made silly rant videos in the corner of their bedroom while doing dramatic little skits and managed to entertain millions of people. Hell, I even learned how to pick up a pencil and draw from some of these art goats from back in the day. And after watching so many of these videos, a thought formed into my mind. I want to be a YouTuber someday. I never really told people about it back then because you could imagine the types of things people would say to that. I would have gotten laughed at for being ridiculous. And you know what? On top of that, coming from an Asian family, the idea of having a content creation job was probably not gonna fly at that time, dude. I was always a creative kid, but growing up, I'd hear so much about how creativity was not gonna earn you any money, and every artist was a starving artist. Art just had no place in the working world. It was impractical. And if I wanted to get money and live a good life, I had to be realistic. So, admittedly, for a long time, I didn't really acknowledge that YouTuber dream and put it somewhere deep into the back of my mind. It felt safer that way. No one could crush those dreams because they were neatly tucked away. So, after growing up a bit, I had finally reached that age where it was time to get serious and go to college. Except, I didn't even know which one I wanted to go to, because I still had no idea what job I wanted to do. So, I kinda just chose the first college that was ready to accept me, which was a business school. Was it the smartest move to choose something without knowing what I really wanted? Probably not, but I thought maybe I'd figure something out along the way. But either way, maybe this is just me, but I always had a specific vision for college before I joined it because of all the American movies I watched growing up. I thought I'd work super hard, have college memories, get my degree, find an amazing job, and move out by 20. I mean, I thought I was a late bloomer because I was 18 and still living with my parents. And yeah, I would never say I had a bad time at college, but things were not at all what I expected. College for me wasn't exactly party city, but I did meet some really kind people while I was there, and it was the nicest I'd ever been treated. But fast forward a few years, and I end up getting my business degree. And I'm staring at it, and I'm like, I still have no idea what I'm gonna do with my life. That's right. I got a whole degree, and I still had no idea what I was gonna do. And I was still living with my parents, which was even more shocking to me because I thought I'd move out by now. But to be honest, in this economy, there was no way I was going to be surviving out on my own. So don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining at all. So for a long while after college, I was just stumbling through life, applying to jobs after jobs after jobs. Half of the time, I didn't even have the qualifications for the job, dude. I was just signing up to random things for the love of the game. CEO of Chili's? I mean, sure, why not? The job market in my country is so bad that I got rejected from McDonald's, bro. McDonald's! Well, F them anyway, cause free Palestine. But regardless, I was losing hope badly, cause I didn't have skills that most people wanted. All I knew was how to draw cute anime girls, and surprisingly, to most people, that felt pretty useless. And honestly, sometimes it's a bit hard opening your social media and seeing people your age or even younger finding so much more success. It felt like I was barely doing anything. So yeah, I slowly started to feel this itch of needing to carry my weight around the house. Now that I was no longer studying, I had no excuses to be dicking around. I really wanted to find success somewhere and earn my keep. So I decided that I would try to hone in on graphic designing. I did not know a single thing about graphic designing. But I mean, maybe those cute anime girl drawing sessions will come in handy. Am I right? And one day, after sending like a billion emails to different companies, I finally got an email back from an internship. Amazing. And after I got interviewed and slapped my hands on a keyboard and aced the test, I had a trial period. And I hated the place. It was so corporate office vibe. I could feel my lifespan depleting the longer I looked at it. And plus, I would have been driving an hour back and forth every day only to be paid $300. After finishing that, I was just standing around on the sidewalk and thinking, this isn't what I want. I don't want to sit in a job office while being told what to do creatively. Because you know what? Turns out graphic design is not my passion. So I was stuck in limbo for a bit. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I felt like I had nothing useful to offer to the big corporate world. And then one day, I felt like I experienced a moment that changed the way I thought about things. This one afternoon, I was on the way to meet a friend, so I grabbed a taxi. And I'm pretty shy and awkward, so I don't usually talk to people that I don't know. But this taxi driver was super friendly and chatty. We started talking about life, where we were from, and the languages we spoke. And then we slowly veered in the topic of our dreams. And he tells me how, when he was in his home country, he always dreamt of being a cop like his dad because he wanted to protect the people around him. And I was like, so why didn't you become one? And he said,
I was too skinny and sickly, and by the time I eventually got healthier, I'd come all the way to this country, and now I have to focus on owning more to send back to my family. Soon, I'll have to settle down and think about getting married. It's just not possible for me.
And in that moment, I kind of felt the urge to argue back and say, no, that's your dream. You have to follow your dreams. But of course, I stopped myself because I realized it probably wasn't as easy as me saying it. So when I left that taxi ride, I was really stumped. If I'm being honest, in that moment, I didn't know how to feel. But I guess after stewing over it over the months, a thought did arise in my mind. I realized it bothered me because I had made a realization. If I wanted to follow my dreams, I could do so without facing financial consequences. I live with my family and I'm not a breadwinner. And that was a huge privilege that I have that so many people around the world don't. And you know what? I'm gonna title drop. Following your dreams in this economy must feel crazy. Sometimes people have to get by to pay the bills. And following your dreams isn't feasible. After thinking back on the people I've met in my life, there were so many instances of me meeting people who struggled with the same thing. I've had conversations where I met someone who wanted to be a doctor, but they were telling me that while we were both in business school. Or sometimes I'll have a conversation with a sales lady who has bigger dreams to be an actress or someone famous, but they had to get a realistic, normal person job. I guess the moment in the taxi put things into perspective for me that I had so many things that people would die for, like the opportunity to live out my dreams, a home, a soft bed, food, water. I'm so lucky and so privileged. Like, you just never realize the worth of something until you don't have it, you know? But yeah, after I thought about all of that, I realized I don't think I've been given the best hand in life. There's been a lot of struggles for me growing up, just like anyone. But I think looking at the cards I've been dealt, I didn't feel like complaining. And I felt like I could make so much more out of what I have right now. Like, why wasn't I chasing my dreams? But yeah, even though I truly believed in things like manifestation and following dreams and making them happen, I kind of realized that I couldn't really blame anyone for thinking that maybe it's better to earn something consistently and support yourself rather than potentially earning pennies for years on end with the chance of no result. And in that aspect, I started understanding why my family and people older than me had put such a focus on getting a stable job, especially in this day and age. Because living in this current time is expensive and it's rough. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not here to tell you that you should abandon your day job and follow your dreams. I think it's an extremely personal choice, and I respect anyone who's on either side of the decision. It takes a lot to be level-headed and put your dreams aside for financial stability, and it's incredibly brave to follow your dreams, even if there's a huge risk to it. So, with all of that in mind, I did face the dilemma myself too. Would I continue going on job hunts in the hope for a stable job? Or was I ready to unpack my old childhood dream? And if I'm being honest, I didn't exactly decide that on my own. After I had my interview, I thought to myself, you know what? If I get rejected from this interview, I want to try out YouTube. In my head, I guess I kind of left it up to fate. I think I trusted the universe to give me what was best for me. And then, a few weeks go by, and I guess that was my answer. It was kind of interesting because that was the first time I kind of felt relieved and excited to be rejected. So, I'm a year into doing YouTube now. Looking back on my old videos, it's so crazy to see how far I've come. I was watching an old video of mine the other day, and it kind of brought a smile to my face because of how much I've grown. I mean, just take a look at how different my style was. Because nothing pisses me off more than seeing my girlies suffer and downplay their own worth. So that's why I'm here to scream in your ears about it for a few minutes. You need to snap out of it. You are a baddie. I know some people are gonna be like, no, I don't look good like everyone else. Girl, keep your mouth closed. So yeah, as you can see, a lot has changed. Of course, my journey isn't over at all. I can't even say that I made it or anything. To me, I'm still at the midpoint in my plot. But I still wanted to talk about it because I always see people at the end point where someone has fully made it and they tell you how they came from nothing and they tell you to keep going. But how often do you hear from people in the midpoint of following their dreams anyway? So I guess you could say this is a bit of a save point in my journey. And it feels nice to reflect on the things I've done and the cool, amazing friends I've met along the way. Even if 5 years into the future, I decide that YouTube wasn't for me, I'm glad that at least I tried and put my all into this. I know some people feel sad when they break up from a long-term relationship or spent years on a degree that they didn't even like, but I think there's something beautiful in the fact that there were lessons you learned somewhere along the way. Success and big wins feel amazing and everything, of course, but I think a harder, more meaningful lesson that I learned is that those failures along the way really do teach me so much. I'm not gonna act like it doesn't bruise my ego sometimes, but it's always nice to get up and think, okay, that didn't work out and that's okay, because I can keep going. And I'm lucky that I can keep going. I just want to say I'm really happy with everything. In one of my notebooks, I wrote down all of my goals, and one of those goals was to get 10k subscribers. And I'm pretty sure I wrote this when I was at like 4 subscribers. So it's kind of crazy how I achieved that goal within a year and even surpassed it. I don't think 14-year-old me would have ever thought I'd get to 100 subscribers. That sounded crazy on its own. But yeah, this was another personal video for me, so maybe you might relate in different aspects and I would love to hear your thoughts on things. I do want to give you this takeaway though. Whatever you end up choosing for yourself, following your dreams or finding a stable job, I hope you'll still be able to find happiness at the end of it. It's tough out here for everyone, and the least we can do is take care of ourselves, check in on yourself, and do things that make you happy as well. We're not machines, you know? Take care, you guys. Bye bye!